What's going on, John? How you feeling about StarCraft?
I'm cool. I'm cool. Not anywhere as near as good at it as I would like to be, but I'm all right.
What killed me is you were so used to Rise of Kingdoms that was the norm for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just
Like,
thought I had.
we're gonna log in, and in 6 hours we're gonna finish this army, and then we're gonna move out to another base.
Yeah, for sure. That's what kills me is I'm like I have all the time in the world, and then you come over with like 80 troops, and I'm like, oh dude, I got five. What's up with that? You know what I'm saying? It's a cool game though.
So is Rise the only type of game like that you've actually played?
Yeah, pretty much, 100%. Like I played something when I was real little, but it's not. I
What
didn't
kind of
take it
games
serious.
were you usually into?
Destiny, Gears of War, console based
Just
games.
first person shooters.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I played a little bit of like Diablo on console, but after seeing it on PC, it's crazy different. You know what I'm saying?
You ever play any of the Warhammer type games like Dawn of War?
Just that one we played off Game Pass.
Which one was that?
I have no clue. You had me download it. We played it for a little bit.
No clue.
Yeah, I don't know what it's
All right.
called, but I know it's called Warhammer, and I didn't really care too much for it. To be honest with you.
I feel you. I feel you. See, Warhammer was the one that got me into him because I started with Age of Empires, Red Alert, Warhammer, Command and Conquer, all the KK&D, all those type of old gems.
You excited for Diablo though, the new one?
New Diablo coming out? Yeah, surprisingly, really surprisingly. When they came out with mobile, I was like, well, Blizzard's done because I had already stopped playing Warcraft when they a little bit after Warlords of Draenor.
So you just over Warcraft? You never get back
I'm
into
not
it?
over it. Not at all. It's just it's severely disappointing because it's like they just stopped caring. And then the BlizzCon when they got booed off because they're talking about next Diablo app. Everybody's like, no, I'm not about it. It was severely disappointing. It's like imagine Call of Duty came out and like, yeah, so we're done with consoles. I think we're just feeling like apps.
They did release an app.
I'm talking about completely cut off all the consoles
yeah.
because that's what Blizzard was talking about because that new CEO or CFO had taken over. Is like, yo, we want you to focus more on mobile because it's a lot less overhead, it's a lot cheaper to make, and people are buying it, and we can make more money.
Yeah, I mean, but if Rise was like StarCraft, it would be a lot cooler. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why I feel like they should have two modes. They should have the standard mode that they have now, where where
They
it's
can't do that.
9 hours later you can get half of an army going.
No, I 100% agree with that. They're just not going to do that. I guarantee you because there's not as much money into doing that as it is. It's harder to do what you do on PC and switch it over to mobile. The whole mechanic has to be different. The issue is a lot of people just look at it as a money grab more than hey, we're going to create an actual game.
So Neverwinter wasn't that what it was called that we played?
It was
on Xbox?
Neverwinter.
Yeah. How close was that to World of Warcraft?
I mean, World of Warcraft is an MMO RPG, so it's got.
What's the difference between that and Nevermind or Neverwinter?
What's what I'm saying? It's the same thing so far as the aspect of what it's supposed to be, but story-wise, class-wise, and all that, it's just not super. It's not as refined as Warcraft. It was enjoyable. It's just me personally, I don't like.
Sam's Choice Warcraft.
What?
Is that what you're calling it? Sam's Choice Warcraft? Like it's a good substitute, but it's not Coca-Cola. Sam's Choice, the generic brand of everything. That's how rich and white you are. You have no clue what Sam's Choice is. All right, so Sam's Choice is a generic brand of. They do generic brand of pretty much everything: soda, candy.
Peasant stuff. All right. Anyway,
Exactly.
Going back to that. No, it was all right. It was all right, but there's so many of them. Like that was the one you played. I've played so many spinoffs of World of Warcraft. So many spinoffs, and it's just one of those things where you learn to either live with it or just find something that's as close as possible. Because the only reason you do that is because Warcraft just made you so mad. Like me, it made me mad because it went from having to hustle to find a group, the group environment. A lot of games, like you can't just join GTA and like you can do your own thing, but it's a lot more fun if you have someone else to play with. But you have to do your own hustle of joining games, invite them to a party, the social aspect of it, and that's all.
You had to want it.
Yeah, you really gotta want it. And Warcraft used to be about that, and then they made it so they just hit a button, find some people that are into the same thing you are, and get it done, and that's it.
So what do you think of the Diablo gameplay I showed you?
I think it looks pretty. I think it looks a lot more in depth. Seems like they care a lot more because they said, I'm pretty sure after getting booed off a stage.
Yeah, you got to revamp everything. Like your next thing is going to be a home run because if it's not, you're done.
Well, yeah, because you got to imagine when you get booed off stage, like people who invest in your company and invest in your app. that's a bad sign. Like that's it, you know. And the number one thing they're going to focus on is how to keep their investors happy. And it just killed me because they're like, oh, we're going to go mobile. We're going to eliminate all the cost. That's what every game's doing. Let's eliminate the cost, eliminate the depth, and get the money.
See the new Diablo. I don't know. I'm eager as fuck to play that because it looks crazy good. It looks like they try to make it enough of like World of Warcraft without making it World of Warcraft. You know what I'm saying? Where more of like you can link up together and battle world bosses and all that rather than because see when I played Diablo 3 on console, it's been out and everybody that played it had their fill of it. So I came in super late, like I do with everything, and it was just me playing solo most of the time. You know, I mean, I would play with one or two people here, but I never had like a huge raid party or anything. I didn't do one raid or one rift. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, no, I'm pretty eager about the new Diablo.
What kind of games have you seen coming out that you were pretty into? Like what do you look for in a game? We talking like gameplay mechanics, or you just talking story?
It really just depends on the type of game itself. Like if it's like a Rockstar game, like Grand Theft Auto or Red Dead, it's got to have decent graphics, but enough gameplay where it feels real. Because that's what it's all about, right? It's feeling like you're that character, or you're in that world. Where with a game like, see, Diablo was the first game I played with that type of mechanics. You know what I'm saying? Where it's not extremely detailed graphics and gameplay. You know what I'm saying? It's more about how the game flows together. So with games like that, it's more about how long can I play this without getting bored. And see, that's what I liked about Diablo. I was like, yo, I'm trying to get to the highest torment I can. But like I said, by the time I started playing it, it was either you played with people who were already there or nobody wanted to play it at all. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's still, like, that's why I'm eager to play the new Diablo hardcore, because when I get into it, when it first comes out, everybody be into it. You know what I'm saying? So you can link up with people and really get going.
See, I just can't wait till you get a PC actually built and put together, and you get to experience what Steam is.
Yeah, see, I don't know shit about it.
Imagine GameStop but online and
GameStop.
not trying to screw you over. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because there's no middleman.
Yeah.
It's just straight like, oh, game's released. Oh, we can cut you a deal because it's just straight online. There's no overhead. There's not paying drivers, not gas, not doing anything. It's just straight, yo, we're just gonna sell the download, and so their business takes off because they're like, yo, we're gonna give you this Assassin's Creed just came out, $10 off. Buy it from us. And then you do the download. You know what I'm saying? You can even get the collector stuff like that. That's what everyone's trying to switch to.
So, did you buy Diablo 3 when it first came out? Like the night of type shit?
So, yeah, I started with Diablo 3. I had started to play Diablo 2 like a very long time ago when I was a kid, and I just never had heavily got into it, but I was into dungeon crawlers. And then when Diablo 3 came out, I picked it up, played it, was really about it. Used to play it with a couple buddies of mine or just solo for hours and hours on end. Came out with Reaper of Souls. I was like, all right. Because the way Diablo works, if you don't know, is you go around the first time, you experience the story, and then you just go up a difficulty. And the idea is they'll start switching the monsters up. Like the demons that are typically in Area 1 are now in Area 3, and the people who are typically in Area 10 are now in Area 1 and 3.
So it's like a new game, but the basic maps and structure is the same.
Maps and structure are the same, yeah, and then they'll just switch up the characters. And it's all right there for a little while to fill up your time. You know, then they introduce like the Crusader, and they introduced, I feel like something else. And then they have a hardcore mode we can get on, and like if you die, you just die.
Yeah, see, that'd be interesting too.
You know, stuff like that. But other than that, I never got into the PvP of it because I was playing World of Warcraft and doing PvP on that. But
so what are you trying to link up with when I get a PC? What's the games that you want to get back into?
RTS games. I still want to stick with Blizzard games because they've always made quality.
Now, when you bought Diablo 3, did you buy it through Steam or did you buy it through, does Blizzard have their own streaming site or something? You know what I'm saying? Like, what do they have? Did you buy it through Blizzard or did you buy it through Steam?
That Battle.net that you downloaded is Blizzard.
Oh, okay, so is that how you bought it? Or is that the only way you can buy it so they don't do Stream or Steam?
No.
Oh, okay, so do you remember how much you gave for Diablo 3?
Oh, see, I bought it when it came out, so probably like $60, but you can get it now for $20.
Yeah, so how much do you think Diablo 4 is going to be, 60?
Yeah, I mean, most new games are 60. It's just kind of the in stone.
Well, I didn't know if, like, because, you know, console games, like Xbox One's what I've majority played. All their shit's 60, which now they're getting, like, collector's editions that are, like, 130 and shit like that, you know? But I didn't know if PC games were more cheaper or more expensive. So I was just trying to get an estimate on that.
I mean, I don't. I feel like they will release it on console. I feel like because I could completely be wrong about the Steam thing, but everything has to go. It has to because that's how they update all their games is through the Blizzard launcher. That's why they do that.
Yeah,
So it's a lot easier for them to do maintenance on them.
I got you. Well, see, they said because that dude that we watched the gameplay of, he was at BlizzardCon, and they said they were going to release it for Xbox One and all that. But the question was, is Xbox One going to be relevant when it releases? You know what I'm saying?
See, my issue with consoles is it's going to be new every 2 years.
Yeah,
Every 1 to 2 years.
I never thought about that until you mentioned that. You know what I'm saying? And then I was like, well, it's cheaper. It's like just $200 when it comes out, $300. And then you mentioned controllers and all the accessories you would need to really capitalize on gaming. You're going to pretty much be paying the same you would for a PC.
I mean, 100% because you can take $800,000.
$800,000. Just got it laying
Just buy a
around.
mansion. Just fill it with game rooms.
Yeah.
But no, you can take $800. I built the PC, ground up, everything. It's stayed relevant 5 years later. I can play the brand new games that are just coming out.
The computer I played on of yours. When was the last time you updated it?
5 years ago. It was,
So
it was
that
4 or
the
5
one?
years. It was a few years ago.
So
Because the reason I did that is I was looking into consoles and Dad's like, nah, you don't have to do that. All you need to do is build it. And I was like, I don't know anything about building. He's like, all right, I'll hit you up with it. He showed me how to do it. We built it, and it's still relevant. And he's like, this will last you as long as you need to because the worst case scenario, you have to update the video card. You can do it separately for $50.
So when do you know you need to upgrade?
Because at some point, games will start coming out. Either that or your shit will just kind of wear and tear. It'll start to lag a little bit on the newer games because your processor's working ultra fast to try to keep up. But, I mean...
All right, so say like I have you build me a computer for $800. Diablo 4 comes out, runs great. 5 years later, is it still going to run great, or
It'll run.
The new games that's going to be
Right.
laggy?
Yeah, it's just the newer games that are going to be
So
laggy.
Diablo 4 is always going to run great, unless it
Well,
breaks
yeah,
or
because
something.
the only way that changes is because you got to imagine when they come out with new games, they're better graphics. Better graphics means larger files. Larger files means your processor's got to put in more work. When your processor's got to put in more work, your graphics card has to put in more work. Your graphics card has to put, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So gradually you'll see your computer run slower and slower on the newer games. On the base, just going to YouTube, going to Facebook, it'll always run great.
All right, cool.
Always. You don't have to update it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That's
you're going to get a cutoff limit at some point.
Yeah,
where
that's
you're not
just
gonna
the
be able
beauty
to play
about
it.
Steam. Yeah, is I still play Battlefront 2 on it.
Yeah.
I still play Age of Empires on it. I can still play StarCraft on it. You know what I mean? So
For sure, for
it's
sure.
it's relevant for a while.
So like, even if I get this new one, StarCraft's always going to be playable on it.
Yeah.
Unless they make a new
Yeah,
StarCraft
100%.
that's crazy, but graphic wise different, or just the mechanics are so
Yeah.
intense that it lags it out. All right, that makes sense.
So I think the thing that I've only done once though. Have you ever done virtual reality?
Kinda, I did like on the phone, and then I did. Nick had one on his PlayStation 4.
The Oculus or what was it?
I don't know. It was a Star Wars game. You were in the cruiser and you fought. I don't know what they were. It had the headset. It plugged into the PlayStation 4.
My cousin came over and he had a VR he had borrowed from his friend that they trade off every other week, and we had played that, and bro, it blew my mind. No lie, it actually, because I put it on and it's like you're actually there, for short of a better term to describe it.
When did you play it?
This was probably 2 weekends ago.
Yeah. See, when I've done it, it wasn't nothing that impressive. I don't know if I'm way overhyping it in my head, and then I'm like, this is not sword art. You know what I'm saying? What is this shit? But maybe I just didn't get it because when he got it, it just came out. So maybe there's been more upgrades and all that shit too.
There's been a ton. There's been a lot of new companies come out and make cheaper versions that are a lot better. Like I played Doom. You know what Doom is? Bunch of demons and all that.
Mm-hmm.
On the screen, they look like ants. You're just like, this ain't nothing. When you're on VR and you're looking up at this 100-foot tall demon, you're like, this is a little different.
Yeah, for sure. I played the Star Wars game and I played the Resident Evil 5 Biohazard. Is that what it was called? The one where did you ever play the new Resident Evil?
No.
The one where you're in like a House of a Thousand Corpses storyline, where you're just this redneck fucking family.
Yeah. No, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's what I played on VR. And it was cool, but it just felt like I was watching, like I was in a theater. You know what I'm saying? That's how it felt. Like I was just in a theater.
What do you expect from VR?
Just more of a sense of like I guess more detail, I guess, than what I would normally get.
So you're talking about like on the. I remember at one con, this dude. It's like a full. It looks like a big orb. It's not like Spy Kids level. It doesn't. Because you're talking about like I need to send my consciousness into this
Well, yeah,
machine.
that's what I just don't need a closer screen to my eyes. That's not very cool to me. You know what I'm saying? That's what VR is.
No, I think it's pretty cool. I don't know what you're talking about, but I know
Um,
you're probably talking about because there's the machines out there that you have to strap
it's
in.
like a treadmill.
And
You know what I'm
get,
saying?
no,
You
it's not.
run.
No, it's not even like a treadmill. Like the coolest one that I saw was this person that like you're moving real time. You can prone, you run in place, you do all this crazy stuff.
Yeah, see, there was a machine I seen. It was VR where it's like you're on a treadmill and that's how you run and shit in the game. And I was like, that would be cool. You know what I'm
There's
saying?
no way you would play it.
I
I'm
would.
calling it right now.
I
There's no,
would.
10 minutes in, you're like, bro, this is not meant for
I,
fat
I
people.
would. No, I wouldn't be. I wouldn't be dedicated hardcore at the beginning, but over time, I would get in shape from it. You know what I'm saying? But I definitely wouldn't be pulling 12 hours like we did in StarCraft over the weekend. You know what I'm saying? That wouldn't shit. It wouldn't happen. I'd be like, yo, bro,
Still
I need
worth
to
it.
sit down.
Still worth it. Still worth it.
Yeah, but if you were running with that army, you wouldn't have played it for 12 hours. You know what I'm saying?
Did you ever watch the new the actual Warcraft movie?
Yeah, I did actually. Even
What'd
though
you
I
think
didn't
about it?
understand. I didn't understand a good deal of it, but it was all right. It wasn't too bad of a movie, you know.
How you feel about video game adaptations?
Uh,
Or even like movie to game adaptations.
it's cool. You know, it's no big deal. They're supposed to be doing a Gears movie, but I've heard about that for like 5 years. I don't know. It's cool. It's just delivery, you know, as everything else. Because, you know, something could be really cool in theory. And then, was it the Dragon Ball Z movie? I haven't seen that, but I hear it's fucking horrible. The same way with Black Butler.
I have not seen the Black Butler. I know they've done like Bleach. I know they've done a couple of the bigger ones. Full Metal Alchemist had one. I just don't watch them because I feel like it would kind of ruin it.
Death Note. Did you see the new Death Note movie
No,
on Netflix?
no.
It was okay. They changed a lot of the story from the anime, but the lead actor who reminded me of Ronnie Racky. That's all I thought about. The whole just how he acted and how he looked. That's all I thought about.
It's just one of those things where I feel like if you're going to make an adaptation of a book or a movie or like an anime, a game or something, don't take it directly from it. You want to keep the story, but don't try to keep the look.
Like they did with Resident Evil. Like Alice was not even a
Right.
character in the game, but it made more sense for the movie.
Yeah, I mean that's exactly how you want to do it. Because if you try to like when you watch Death Note and all that, like when they're trying to do the exact same costumes, like I get it. Like especially for Death Note, it's hard to show the God of Death as something else.
What
you
was
know
the
I'm
dude's
saying?
name? The dude, the
Light?
Yeah, no, the dude's name, the demon. What was his name? Like his actual
Oh
name?
man, I don't even remember
You know what I'm talking about? His visual in the movie was spot
Yeah.
on. It was a great visual. William Dafoe, I think, played his voice. He
Oh,
was
yeah?
great. Like that was the thing that I was stressing about. Like, are they gonna make him look cool and all that shit?
Yeah.
He was great. It was just the actual story was fucking trash. They cut out a lot of it. They cut out like a lot of the anime story, which I felt like was. They cut out a bunch of shit that was not necessary to cut out. It was just like, oh, we want to make it low, as cost efficient as possible. So they just left out a bunch of shit. I remember the biggest thing was what was the detective, the dude that was helping the detectives.
E or something. It was
Yeah,
some letter,
M-E with some
I
letter,
think it
right?
was E. Yeah.
I remember everybody was like, he's black. And that's fucking crazy. I was like, why does that fucking matter? Like, that doesn't change the story at all to me. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, no, I had a far greater problem with them cutting just whole segments out of the movie.
No, I was about to ask something. I was totally poser crazy. I would be like, was Ash versus it? Was Evil Dead a comic first? I was like, no, it was a movie.
Poser.
Oh man, do they have any comics or anything like that for Ash? Ash versus Evil Dead, any of that?
They have like Ash versus Freddy Krueger, Ash versus Chucky. Maybe not Chucky. I think
Ash versus Freddy Krueger.
it's Ash versus Freddy and Jason. And if they just tied it in, because the Freddy Jason movie came out, so they just made it where Ash comes in and saves the world.
Yeah.
He wins. Yeah, I didn't never read it. Was you a big comic book dude?
I was if they were cool because I just remember originally I was like
Collect 'em?
never collecting them. Like here recently, I would have looked them up online because low key I think it'd be cool to just write a comic. But I was also like,
Dead market.
I don't read.
I can't read.
I can't read. Like it's been a problem, but I didn't read it, and it was funny because I remember saying something to somebody like, "Oh man, I think it'd be great. I think it'd be cool to write a book. I think it'd be cool to write a comic and then like put some music to it and really bring it to life." Like I would love because you know how many people like low-key do these fan fictions of Ash and like try to make their own story. I
Mhm.
think it'd be really cool. But then I'm also like, they looked at me, they're like, "You don't read." Like, what's the last book you
Sweet
read?
ass
I
pictures
was like,
though.
"I'll let you know." Read Fox and Socks was my shit. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah. Yeah, I only read it online too. But the guy that I don't remember it hardcore. I just remember Freddy vs. Jason was the movie that was out. Army of Darkness fans are pretty hardcore. I think that's what the comic was called. Dark Horse, I think, may have been the one to
Which
make
Evil
it.
Dead do you think did the best? Out of curiosity.
Like financially, or which one I like the
No,
best.
which one do people talk about more?
To be honest, I don't think people understand that Evil Dead and Army of Darkness are the same type of movie. You know what I'm saying?
What do you mean by that?
The Army of Darkness is a standalone film.
Oh, yeah, okay, no, I get that.
Because, I've made Ash references, and they're like, oh, dude, I love Army of Darkness. I'm like, have you ever seen Evil Dead, though? Like, what's that? I'm like, that's wild to me that, you watch them out. It's like if somebody comes up and they've seen one Star Wars movie, and then you make like a Darth Vader reference, and they're like, oh, dude, I love Return of
Darth
the Jedi.
Vader.
You know what I'm saying? Darth Vader, my bad.
I love Dark Maul.
Yeah, that's my favorite dude.
But so, are there anything out there kind of like Evil Dead that you'd love to see into a movie, or I'm sorry, into like a comic or any other thing that they haven't traditionally done?
I'm not about comics.
Even like a video game though. I mean, like any other form of entertainment. Like I would love to see another. Like I know they're making another Evil Dead game.
Supernatural video game.
Supernatural.
Yeah, it'd be cool to be in your own world. In fact, like that supernatural world, and you could pick between being an angel or a hunter, and go through and just do a storyline of Sam and Dean type shit, and have Sam and Dean help you along the way. Like those would be the NPCs that guide you.
See, I would love to see that because it's so rare. To be honest with you, I don't think I can think of one. Like there was a game here recently, Murdered Souls, that I think that had come out with. You know anything about that?
No clue.
So essentially, it wasn't exactly what you're talking about, but I'm trying to think about. Has there been any games like a supernatural type game? I don't think there has been.
Not to my knowledge.
I wonder how difficult that would be. That would be pretty cool. You talking about being someone with Sam and Dean or being either Sam or
I
Dean?
think it'd be cool to, how Bobby.
Like are we being Garth?
Yeah, fuck
is
no,
that
we're
what
not
we're
Garth.
doing?
I think it'd be cool to be like, how Bobby was for them. Like that, they are your Bobby in the game. So they give you the call, tell you where to go. Like they were kind of like John Winchester. They would be like the John Winchester to your Sam and Dean. So you would create your character, whatever, male, female, whatever, whatever looks you wanted to give your hunter, and then Sam and Dean would call you and be like, go to this part, blah blah, of the map, blah blah blah, look for these type of details, blah blah blah. And it'd be cool to like scope out the place to know what type of species of animal you're hunting, or not animal, but creature. And then I thought about this in detail actually, and then like once you like get to the DLC or something, like when you beat the base game, then you have a chance to either become an angel or just stay a hunter, and you can keep the game going through that way.
See, I think that would be pretty cool. It's pretty much like a Call of the Wild, except no British physics, and then just straight up hunting monsters, demons, everything.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, are we talking like a stat system, or are we talking just like you go along, gradually kind of unlock things, learn how to do traps better?
Well, I figured on that.
Because the way I see it, I would love to be able to actually choose what kind of hunter you're on. Whether if you're like, oh, I'm going to build a bunch of traps, or I'm going to network and build relationships with demons and fucking sacrifice this guy over here to make sure I can get this creature.
Or you
And
can
then when I
just get
capture
like
this
a-
creature, I'm going to fucking do research on him and build it from
Do
there.
integration.
So you're not just
That's
a straight
exactly
like
what I
San
thought.
Bernardino.
That's
You know
exactly
what I
thought.
mean? Like
Yeah.
you want to do something. You want to do something where
You can like
can
get with Crowley. Like,
yeah,
like
yeah.
fucking he can like investigate a demon or like investigate a creature, like touch its head, and then he can know like its traits. That way, the next time you hunt it, it's easier.
Yeah,
or you can like go to a boss level and get the coat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, 100%. That'd be fun, dude.
Yeah,
That'd be really
exactly.
fun. What
Yeah,
kind of DLC would
fun.
you do for that other than the Angel and Demon?
I would just follow the story. You know what I'm saying? So like,
Yeah.
you could do the Oz, you can do you can even do Scooby Doo. And, if you didn't have those rights, then you can just write. You could do the Diablo thing and just write your own structure of how, like when you become an angel, you could go to different timelines between Earth. You know what I'm saying, and shit like that. You can go
Yeah.
to different dimensions. Like in the newer season, they go to the Earth that's been destroyed by Michael.
Oh
Shit
yeah,
like that.
yeah. I feel you.
It's the Supernatural just fucking did so much crazy shit. The possibilities.
I wonder
are
why no
endless.
one's really ever done something like that though. It kind of blows my mind. You think that'd be a dead giveaway?
Yeah.
That's the type of gameplay you don't really see because I think mechanically it's not even really that difficult either because you just phase in. You just have to. It's just map building. It's just map building, and then the mechanics might get a little bit tricky to make. But That would be fun, man.
The thing
You
that
got me
would,
hyped on that now. I
yeah,
got
right,
to invest into
right.
it.
The only thing would be with that game, you wouldn't have to, you couldn't do super complicated graphics. You wouldn't be able to do Grand Theft Auto graphics with that many details going
Well,
around.
see, that's what I like about Red Dead because they're not super great graphics either.
Yeah,
They're
just your
they're
basic
good
solid
graphics for what
yeah.
they are. You
Yeah,
know
exactly.
what I mean?
But you're not blown away by it. You're not like this is visual art. You know what I'm saying? You're just like,
Yeah,
the
100%.
world is. The world's fucking phenomenal.
Would you make it like a two multiplayer with just two people? Would you make it a
See that
what would be the end game there?
How I thought about doing it is you would have to do co-op, 2 hunters max, and then on boss levels like it'd be like raids. Then you can get like a pack of 6 hunters, 4 hunters, and take out like a hive of vampires.
See, yeah.
or
All right,
Leviathans
all
or
right,
shit
yeah.
like that, you know
But
what
like
I'm saying?
instead of dungeons like on World of Warcraft or Diablo and all that, you would just straight do just raids on Vampire Nest. Yo, we gotta sneak into hell and we gotta release the soul. And every soul we release, we save up reputation with the angels. And if we get enough reputation with the angels from these trapped souls that were wrongly put in hell, we can get this cool thing. All right, yeah, I feel you.
Plus, well, see how I pictured it is like so you pick a hunter, and so as you progress through the game, you learn how to get money through credit card scams and all that shit. You know, like the more money you could pull out of those scams. You know, you first start out, you just barely getting by, blah blah blah. As you level up, you get better at them, and then like on hives, like vampire hives and shit, you would just load you into this big map, and then so you and those other 6, 7 hunters, however many it is, you would all have vehicles, and you could upgrade your vehicles to hold more weapons in the back, et cetera, et cetera. And then you would drive around the map looking for signs of this hive. So it wouldn't be straight, everybody go to this one point and fight it. Like you would have to work together. It'd be like, oh, dude, I'm over here in this part of the map. I don't know. People are disappearing, but I don't know if it's the hive. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that.
Yeah, I would low key love to do that. Supernatural would be a great one to do that. Evil Dead's a great one to do it because it's got enough comedy and horror. I feel like Supernatural has that same appeal to it.
Yeah, but see, the only negative with the Evil Dead is it was just always Ash, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? So it's not. That wouldn't be a good co-op game. I mean, you can make those characters like in the.
We got Ash versus Evil Dead. We got the team in there, but I see what you're saying.
But who the hell wants to be them and Ash is them? You know what I'm saying? Like they're cool characters.
Yeah, all right,
they're cool
all right.
characters.
Are the deal?
All right, if you had to pick, all right, between Garth and Dean, who are you gonna pick?
I'm a big Dean.
Exactly.
I'm a big Dean
You know
every
what I'm saying?
time. Yeah.
Ash is the coolest dude in that whole story. So it's gonna be a constant fight of no, I want to be Ash. Like, dude, I don't want to be this fucking Mexican dude. I don't want to be this chick. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they're cool and they could be badass characters. 100%. I like their characters a lot, but I'm always gonna want to be Ash.
Yeah, I'm about the Supernatural game though. I'm trying to think about what else would be.
Let's
what else would be
get
pretty
in
dope.
contact with him.
Let's get in contact.
Was it Jason Eccles? And what's the other?
Jason Ackles.
Is that his name? What's his name?
No, it's just the way it's Jason Ackles and
Ackles,
Jared
Ackles.
Padalecki. Yeah.
Holler at us. We got something for you.
I just wonder, low key, if we were just like, yo, we're gonna front $20,000. Like here in a few years down the line, we're like, yo, we're in front of this money. We have the programmers. We just need the rights to the show, and we're gonna make it happen.
I don't think that falls on them, but I definitely think they would do like if we made like a bootleg, like how we don't get the rights to your show, but we're gonna have you guys voice these characters. I think they would, because I mean they did like 15 seasons.
This
This
one's gonna be
story,
this was their last one. They were super emotional about it.
They're making a new one though, ain't they?
This is the last. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. This is the last season. This is the.
I'm pretty sure
official
they
last.
announced the next one.
They didn't. They said this is the last one. Jensen and Jared themselves came out, were crying and like, "Yo, this is the last season. We can't go on anymore." Because this was the last season that they were renewed for.
Oh, okay, because I heard something about that. It was supposed to be their last season, and then they made another season after it. Like they were in the works
Not at all. No, this is. That might be. I might be having my timelines mixed up, and this is the last season, and they're finishing up one, and then. But whatever they're about to come out with is the last season. I think it already started airing in October.
I'm not buying it.
Which shit, I just forgot it aired in October. And I haven't seen that. My bad. Are the deal. Are the deal.
Your neck's straight. I trust you. But yeah, no, I always thought that'd be a very cool game. That's a game I would like to design as well. But like write a story for, even if the supernatural thing doesn't come to play. Like that's a solid, because then it gets to that point where you can bring in angels and demons. And you can just write your own storyline and say, fuck Supernatural. You know what I'm saying? So like, it'd be cool to reach out and be like, yo, we would love to base everything off of your story and your characters. But if they're like, no, but well, we're just dogma this shit and just write our own fucking story. But yeah, for sure. I mean, you could even do like a See, because how I seen it was the super detailed version. Like I said, you upgrade your cars, you upgrade your weapons, and all that shit. So it wouldn't be like, oh, I beat the story, so I have all the best weapons. Like it would be like Diablo. Like the more you hunted, the better weapons you would get. Grinding type shit. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah, I feel you. I feel you.
That way, if somebody jumps in and you want to take your like friend hunting that's just started the game, if you take him to where you're going, you could be like, yo, you could totally survive, but if you don't play this right, you're gonna get fucking ate up. You know,
Like, I actually add mechanics to it that World of Warcraft does. You have to know what kind of hunter you are. You have to know like how you're gonna mix with other hunters. Like if you got hunters who are weapon specialists versus a hunter who just is like on the dark side and straight up just sells hoes.
what was the game we played? State of Decay. Those type of gameplay, like that type of graphics, would work great because you wouldn't have to worry about the loot like that. You know what I'm saying? Because you would get your loot from fucking missions. You know what I'm saying? Rather than I need to go to this gas station and look through these coolers. You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't do that because you would. And then I thought it would be cool like later if you failed a mission. Like I always thought it'd be cool. Like I've really been interested in games that like if you don't succeed, there's real repercussions. Not like your character dies, but how cool would it be if like, oh, I didn't finish this mission, I failed and got killed twice. You know, we failed the mission. You died, I died. So when we load back in, the world's damaged a little bit more. Like there's demons more running the face of the earth rather than how it is now.
So you have to stay active, or else they start taking over shit.
Yeah,
Just like State of Decay. Yeah.
That or it's like Sam and Dean. Like if they failed one of their missions, you know what I'm saying? Like when all the angels fell. Like if they didn't finish that mission where they restored heaven, you know, which is still it's a little fucked up. It's not nearly as good as it used to be, but it was the fact that if they failed their mission, the world was ending. You know what I'm saying? So it'd be cool to
Actually bring that into effect and actually have real world consequences to stuff.
Yeah, I thought it'd be cool. It's kind of like hardcore mode in Diablo, where you're like, yo, if I die, there's real repercussions. Like this game would never be the same.
I would love to do that because you can bring so many new things into it. That'd be really fun to do. Like, oh, you let this dude's dad die, but you saved him. He's super crappy at you, and in this next ghost hunt, suddenly he shows up out of nowhere and tries to kill you. Yeah,
exactly. Like the Marine that tried to kill Dean because fucking he killed his parents.
So that's when that's when Dean turned into a demon.
Yeah. See shit like that. I think it just comes down to like that's why there's a lot of games that can't come out that I'm like, that's a horrible idea. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a dumbass idea for a game.
Like what?
There was a game called Vampiric. It was about this doctor from back in the day who's a vampire. I was like, oh, this is gonna be fucking cool, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like a vampire game, but it's just like any other vampire game. You go through, you feed on people to get help, blah blah blah. It wasn't nothing new. So rather than make something that's already been made and just update the graphics or something like that, like make something that's groundbreaking. You know what I'm saying? It's like imagine the world before World of Warcraft like it is today. You know what I'm saying? And then when World of Warcraft launched, that you said that there were so many glitches and shit. But that's because it's not been done to that scale before. And think about the impact it has on the gaming. Like PC, I'm sure has got a big boost. People stayed loyal to PC because you couldn't play Warcraft on console. You know what I'm saying? Because didn't you say like it'd be impossible to play a World of Warcraft on console?
You would. It's like, do you remember the difference in Sea of Thieves if a person was playing on console versus people playing on PC? Because it's the turn. It's the easiest way is if you turn on a console compared. You know how that slowly rotates around versus PC is instant. There's no waiting. You can whip it around no problem.
Straight up, yeah.
So, yeah, 100%.
That's what I'm saying. So it'd be cool to see. I would like to see a game come out that just blows my mind. Like Atari, when Pong came out, and people were like, "Oh, what the hell is this?" And it was a trendsetter. You know, look how we got now. It all started with Pong. You know what I'm saying? It would be cool to see a game that breaks the mold like that.
I think the one recently that surprised me has been getting a lot of talk to because they finally broke that mold. Surprisingly, was Call of Duty, the new Call of Duty, because I was watching a couple of videos. Well, I was watching a couple of videos because I wanted to know because it was super controversial. I was like, how is a Call of Duty controversial? And it's about being in a wartime area where you're getting to see real life. Like this is messing with, like this is real world. This is happening. We're just making a game on it, and it gets super in depth, super in depth about how those countries are like war torn.
But then that you got to worry about something like the developers being persuaded to make the good guys the bad guys and bad guys good
not at
guys.
all. Nope.
But
They make the U.S. They can make the U.S. look bad. I'm sorry. What?
How do you know that's the real story though? Because everybody gets bad reps and everybody gets good reps. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's not about that. It's about showing the actual life of what it's like to be in a war-torn area. Not being able to sit here and do a podcast, but to, have to fight every day just to get a scrap of food.
Oh, you're talking about living. I thought you were talking about like how it is in Iraq right now. You know what I'm saying? Like the
No.
politics of that war is what
No,
you're seeing.
'cause
You're
like,
talking about living in a fucking hot spot, a hot zone.
Yeah, like
Oh, okay, okay.
we wouldn't be able to do this
I
at
was
all.
gonna completely see. That's why I was like, yo, what if the developers get paid to paint this certain group of whatever a certain light, and in real life they're not like that, but now they're getting a bad rep because the majority of people
Right. No,
are-
no. So what? So what they
all right,
did
I'm with you, I'm with you.
you're a Marine or you're a special forces, whatever the hell you are. You get sent into this war. Like imagine being able. You're not just sent to Iraq. Oh, it's a Call of Duty about Iraq. No,
Yeah.
it's a Call of Duty about like going to Iraq and fighting with the people against the terrorists. Because that's what's really going on. It's like in Afghanistan, that's what we're doing. We're fighting with people from Afghanistan
Trying
to fight the
liberate
terrorists
country and shit, yeah.
because they're getting killed every day if they don't side with the terrorists. Yet they side with the terrorists. They're like, all right, we just want to eat and live and not get shot in the head.
Yeah, for
and I have
sure,
our
for
women
sure.
raped and men killed.
I was,
But because then you get Marines coming in and be like, oh, they're terrorists, shoots them or take them hostage.
I was actually watching this Viceland documentary today.
Yeah,
It was about how this dude who used to be a shaman over there, or whatever you want to call it,
shaman.
high priest, whatever you want to call it. He had to stop doing that, and he's like an active commander in the Iraq army and fighting ISIS, which is wild to think you're a holy man, and then you have to push comes to shove, and you got to be like, I got to pick up a gun and defend myself. It's wild, right? Like imagine if you had to do that here, like you're a priest all your life. Like we need you to lead a unit. You're like, oh damn, all right, well, so but anyway, the main purpose of the documentary was ISIS is recruiting people. Like people are joining from not third world countries, because that's what the dude said. Like if somebody joins a terrorist organization from a third world country, it's not that big of a surprise. They've got the shitty end of life. They feel like all these bigger countries are just stepping all over them. You know what I'm saying? Like they're going without the basic.
It gives them purpose
necessities.
in life because they ain't got shit.
That, and it's
So,
easy.
yeah.
It's easy to build.
Believe the propaganda.
Yeah, because you're living in hell. While and over here we're arguing.
Yeah, I
over
mean they do that from kids.
bullshit. You know what
they
I'm saying?
they
So,
do that
like,
to kids
yeah,
as they
exactly,
become adults.
exactly.
They condition them.
But
yeah.
what's weird with ISIS is people are coming from England, people are coming from America, and all this shit to join them. And it's the first time that's really happened where a terrorist organization is recruiting actively from first and second world countries. You know what I'm saying? So it's just it blows my so that's the thing. It's like it's blowing everybody's mind because they're like, what makes ISIS this thing where people are like, I need to get behind this movement. You know what I'm saying? But have you seen their propaganda videos?
No,
I have, because I'm a weirdo. I'm probably on a list somewhere. You know what I'm saying? But they're like, it's like Nazi propaganda. You know what I'm saying? Like they're just telling you what you want to hear, but they're doing it in such a believable way. You're like, I'm kind of behind this. You know what I'm saying? And then you're like, wait a minute, they're cutting people's fucking heads off that are news reporters. Wait a minute. You know what I'm saying? Like they suck you in, and then if it wasn't for you not being in that situation, in that environment, I could easily see how they could.
Well, it goes back to the whole Hitler thing. Everybody asks if Hitler was so bad, how was he in power?
Did you know, like when Hitler was in office, or leading the country, I don't know what you would call it. He would pay soldiers X amount of dollars. They got a bonus each payday for quitting smoking, getting in better shape, and all this shit. So his people, he was really looking. He was on the forward thinking. You know what I'm saying? Like in the smoking decreased and all this shit, and Volkswagen became a thing. Fanta became a thing. Like he did
That was
a
the
lot
thing
of
that blew my
crazy
mind.
things.
On a side note, on that Fanta, I never knew that Hitler made Fanta.
Yeah,
Never
think about
realized
that.
Hitler
Yeah,
made
'cause
Fanta.
He
Hitler,
couldn't get Coke because the U.S. wouldn't supply them.
well, he didn't want the Coke. He's just like, no, German people are proud.
Well, no,
we don't need
That's
you.
how it started. How it started was they were consumers of our products.
Yeah.
Obviously, through time, we wasn't
Yeah.
supplying them anymore. So Hitler flipped it. He sold like that. We don't want American shit anymore. We can just make German shit, and it'd be way better, So that's why if you look back, Hitler did a few crazy good things for his German people.
He was voted man of the year just before he went crazy.
Yeah,
Just before
that's
he was
like
in.
The Olympics that they hosted. That was a huge stink about because Nazi athletes were a thing, and they didn't want to allow black people to perform in the Olympics, which is wild. Think of that concept. Like
Yeah.
it's World Olympics. When we mean world, we don't mean the world. We just mean white people. You know, so that's a wild concept to throw and not sound stupid. But during that Olympics, an American woman ran up to Hitler and like kissed him in the mouth and just gave him a big hug, and which he smiled and was like, "Oh yeah, yeah." You know, he was loved hardcore about it.
She was beheaded after.
No. She came back and he actually I don't know if he executed or he fired all of his generals that were around him because he's like, "You're supposed to be protecting me, and you just allowed this fucking woman, this like 90-pound woman to come up and just grab me and kiss me." You know what I'm saying? But at the time, he played it off.
That's crazy to have to think about that.
Think about that woman. Think about that woman. She kissed somebody who fucking sentenced thousands upon thousands of people to their death. You know what I'm saying? But think about, like, I wonder at that time how he was perceived, because we weren't born in that time and we wasn't anywhere around that time. We only see what history's taught us. I wonder what the real, like, when shit was going down, how he was really thought of. It's like ISIS. We know ISIS as being shitty ass people. It's because we have the internet, but technology and information wasn't as hardcore as it was today. So was Hitler in everybody's eyes this bad dude? Or they were just like, oh, he's just the leader of Germany. He's a pretty cool dude. And then like after the fact, they were like, holy shit, this dude's a monster. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's just conditioning people, like in terrorist groups. That's how they keep relevant, because they'll have a bunch of kids. They want kids because they're easy to condition, and then as they grow up, they just convince them that America is these horrible, evil bastards that are out to get them and their families. So then when they get older, that's why you can't convert them. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's years and years of conditioning and training into thinking a specific idea is right. That anything else is just wrong. It's blasphemy. How crazy is that? Can you imagine coming up and be like, I like people with curly hair, because my mom always said they always lie to you and they're evil. Like, there's people out there like that. 100%. Westboro Baptist. Westboro Baptist.
But yeah, it was like I was telling you a couple of days ago. When you were a little kid and your parents told you something, it was facts. You trusted it 100%. You didn't question it all.
They're not wrong.
Yeah, your mom and dad know everything. But nobody knows
Tarzan
everything.
came from Venus. We all know that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you used to, like, I know I would. I'd get in heated arguments with people. Because, I'd just be like, just whatever the fact I thought was. I'd be like, oh, hey, why is grass green? I'd be like, oh, it's just how so-and-so, it's just how this is blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, yeah, grass is green because my mom said this. But no, grass is green because of photosynthesis or something. Like, you're a lying bitch, dude. My mom wouldn't fucking lie to me. You know what I'm saying? So it goes into that, like, it's just wild to me how somebody could talk kids into killing or that way of thinking and just make them killers at that young age. You know what I'm saying? It's the same principle. You know what I'm saying? They just they got they got influenced super young, and it's gonna be really hard to convince them otherwise. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know, man. I can't imagine, because it's impossible to imagine. Like, can you imagine, like, I gotta kill all these Americans because they're holding us hostage and they're killing our families?
And let's be honest, our country does a lot of things that is shady that gives them propaganda to use against us. You know what I'm saying?
Everyone does that shit, though. I hate that argument so much. Like, America's not great.
Canada's pretty cool. You know what I'm saying?
Maple syrup's cool. Yeah. 100,
When's the last time you thought, like, when you think of assholes, like, as far as, like, a certain race of people, like, you know what I'm saying, or not race, like a country of people, I think of Americans. I just feel like we're the New York of the world. Get the fuck out of here! I'm walking here. That's America.
I can't see that. I can 100% see the entitlement, though, because we're not used to the struggle.
Canada's like Butters' family. So, you know what I'm saying? Like they're like the
But
Mormon family.
They come out with people that do just like that too. Justin Bieber.
100%. But Justin
Tom
Bieber
Green
was influenced by American culture like a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? We got a hold of him when he was like 10. I think that's what
America sucks. You're right. America sucks. You're right. You're right.
I'm just saying it's easy here. It's easy. It's easy here to take advantage of situations.
Entitlement. Yeah, 100%. I feel you
for sure. It's just because it's an option here. In a lot of places, you're more worried about eating than you are like becoming a billionaire. You know what I'm saying?
I think through history, there was Hitler. I don't know enough about Stalin, but I know that was crazy too, because he's got a way bigger death count than Hitler. Because they're still finding bodies to this day.
Was that the dude who was leading Russia at the same time?
I don't know where he. I don't know
Russia at the time of Hitler's reign. Was it Stalin? All right, because see, I started looking up these history documentaries. The thing that was weird about Russia at that time was Hitler was rising in power. It's before he was well known and fucking had the push that he had. Russia, the leader of Russia, I don't know who it was because he got overshadowed by Hitler, obviously. But he was telling the world leaders in the UN, or at least America, he was like, "Yo, this dude's on some fucking crazy shit, guys. Like, we need to figure out what to do with them." And everybody was just like, "Not our problem." You know what I'm saying? So over time, Hitler becomes the force that he was, and Russia joins him. Because they're like, yo, he's our neighbor. Like, this is not a across the world thing to us. Like, this is a very real threat. So I gotta link up with him. Like, I have to. It's for my people. If not, he's gonna destroy my country. So, but all the way up to that point, I always thought like Russia was just Hitler number 2. Like, they're a bunch of fuckheads too. You know what I'm saying? But it just turns out that dude was just trying to just stay alive, just keep his people going. You know what I'm saying? But that's a wild concept. Imagine being that guy. You'd be like, I tell you, everybody's like, Hitler's fucking bad. And he's like, dude, I fucking told y'all, bro. I told him when I told y'all about him when he was a nobody, when he didn't have all this push, when a world war wouldn't even have been relevant. And then you're like, well, you're an asshole. You joined him. Like, what are you talking about, bro? I asked you to help me stop him, and y'all were just like, not my problem. And then he blows up one of y'all's ships, and now it's y'all's problem. Well, by then, he's
everybody's problem.
Exactly.
He's everybody's problem with that. I'm trying to think of anyone. I don't think there's anybody else close to that started anywhere near that kind of a problem. You know what I mean?
What was that dude? Castro in Cuba?
Fidel Castro?
Yeah.
He didn't start a fucking world war, though.
But he started the whole Cuban missile crisis, didn't he?
Cuban Missile Crisis, yeah. Well, I think one of the,
obviously it wasn't Hitler status, but you know.
I think one of the weirder things is that I remember reading about it being like, why was the Cold War? You know, where essentially 2 countries are at war. America's feeding one. Oh no, it was Korea.
I don't know shit about the Cold War.
So,
other than it was cold, and it was with Russia. You know what I'm saying?
So the Cold War is essentially there's 2 sides. America supported one. It was called the Cold War because we weren't really at war with them.
Yeah.
But we were feeding one side of a war. America was on one side and the Russia was on the other one. And the whole idea was America was like, yo, low key, we remember World War. We remember that.
Also,
so I want to feed this country that harm you. And Russia's like, all right, are the deal. I'm going to do this.
And also, wasn't that the closest we got to thinking a nuclear attack was going to hit us? Like next to North Korea now?
Well, this is when it got huge because I remember like when the first atom bomb was made, the guy did not expect it to be what it was. The guy actually cried. The guy was super hurt because he didn't know that they were going to militarize it like they did.
I mean, he's not too smart.
Because his son, I can't remember the exact story, so I can't speak 100% on it. I just remember he was appalled by how they were using it. He didn't want them to use that power.
I remember watching Joe Rogan, and he told me to check out all these videos. The first time they dropped a nuke, they thought they destroyed the planet. They thought like they caught the atmosphere on fire. How wild is that? And it was like another thing of Joe. They didn't know about radiation like we know today, right? So they would just detonate these bombs, these test sites, and then soldiers would just run towards it to check shit out. And it turns out, like, you know, years later, they all have this crazy amount of cancer going throughout their body. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm
talking about, like Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Yeah, like those. But well, not those in particular, but when they were testing those bombs.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So like, they would only be X amount of feet back because they didn't prepare. You know, they wasn't thinking like, oh, hey, radiation was a thing, or you know, if it was, they didn't really understand it. And they didn't think the blast was going to be that big. So the first time they seen one, they thought they fucked up the planet. They're like, oh, shit, dude. Like, this is going to fuck the whole atmosphere.
They weren't too far from being wrong.
Yeah. So they would have these soldiers just unprotected go out there and check the sites. You know, check for damage, blah, 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 blah. And all these soldiers end up dying because radiation. You know what I'm saying? So that's another thing. It's like, you know, like 50 years ago, 100 years ago, smoking was healthy. You know what I'm saying? Like doctors smoked. And then now you're like, oh, you know, you see the truth commercials. Like in 50, 100 years, when we're 90, if we make it that long, be like, oh man, everybody's worried about breathing in just this or drinking this. And we were drinking that shit like crazy when we were kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just one of those things. Like evolving with the times, I guess. You know, like how many threats do you take in a day that you don't even realize is a threat? And then
you talking about like the aspartame and Diet Cokes, exactly, like the actual effect on it.
Like how much shit do we ingest that we don't even thinks a threat. I mean, we know it's bad for us. You drink a Coke, you're like, it's not the healthiest thing to drink. And then like 40 years from now, they're like, yo, this syrup or whatever you guys, that was poison. You were drinking poison. You know what I'm saying? That shit's wild to me.
Like in 50 years, the lifespan's going to go from like 75 to 100. You know what I mean? Because back in the day, old Wild
Yeah.
West, you're living to 25. So imagine like 20 years later, you're one of the lucky few that makes it to 40. You know what I mean? And you're seeing people live to like 45 and perfectly healthy.
So I like the Wild West era, you know, like the late 1800s. I could really fuck with them because that seemed like the last time everybody had a lot of freedom. Obviously, a lot of shit was wild.
It was
You know
pretty
what I'm saying?
miserable, and it was
But,
horrible to
yeah,
live
in the
back
sense
there.
of medical and all that shit,
yeah.
because you know you got shot, just like either it's gonna heal,
Well, it's not even just shots, all the
or
illnesses and
we're
shit
gonna
you
cut your fucking
contract.
arm off. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So I'm talking about is independent freedom. You had a lot more to do. Like you could just be like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna load up a wagon, get a big ass thing of flour, get a big ass thing of jerky. I'm gonna go to California. You know what I'm saying? See y'all in like 3 years. I'll let you know if I get out there. You know, like nowadays, I mean, there's a lot of technology, but we don't have individual freedom.
Isn't that
as
crazy?
much
Though?
like that.
Isn't that crazy to think though? The purpose of life has switched so much from I'm just gonna travel around with a wagon, do a little bit of side work for people. I know kind of how to build a fence. I know
Yeah.
kind of how to farm a little bit. It went from that to on Real Talk. I want to do PS4 and I want to do a live stream.
Yeah.
And also I just kind of want to build money to go show off to my friends, and But if you
That's
go
what
back
I'm
then, they're
saying,
like, "Yo, I'm just worried about how this pig living through the winter."
Obviously, it's a way better time to live in this time, right? And it's there's a lot of technology that it's real cool. We have a lot of things that they never even dreamed of. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But
100%.
I also appreciate that, like, that'd be cool to live in that time where you're like, I'm broke. Well, I'm gonna go to this farm and work on it for today, and he'll give me like $1, and then that'll get me through this week, or this will get me through the day. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was really
Yeah.
And then if not, you could just go the other way and be like, I'm gonna start robbing banks. You know what I'm saying? Like pretty much if you were that bum back in the day, you either didn't want it or you were owed or had some type of disability.
Would you want to live like that, where there's not really a purpose other than just living day by day?
Well, see, I got to thinking yesterday. What's really the purpose of life now? It's the same as then. You don't know. You're just here. You know.
All right.
It's like we're the only thing on Earth that really does a lot of weird shit in theory. That if you think of like clothes, yeah, if you live out in the code or something like that, they make sense. You know what I'm saying? But we're the only creature on Earth that's like, oh, I can't show my private parts to people. This is wild. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm gonna collect a bunch of shiny things. Like, why is gold relevant? Why is it valued? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like in theory, like I understand it's valuable and it's rare and all this shit.
I just think it's in the DNA. I think a long time ago, somebody figured if you can create a currency, you can rule over people. And if you can rule over people, you can have power.
But why gold? Why, you know what I'm
It
saying?
wasn't always just gold back in the day. It could just been a piece of paper you said that was valuable.
The only reason you want
They used to have notes.
the only reason you want gold is just because it's valuable, right? But why is it valuable? That's what I was thinking yesterday. I was like, I wonder if like some time in evolution, like our ancestors through apes or whatever, just started collecting shells. And another monkey was just like, I want some motherfucking shells. And then that started
It's
that train
power.
of thought,
It's all
you know
about
what I'm saying?
power. Yeah, that's just in our DNA to have as much power
So,
over everybody
the
else.
Ape number 2 starts looking. He's like, I can't find any shells. I'm gonna barter with him. And then there's another monkey. He's like, a third monkey was like, I also want shells too now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna use them for anything, but I want them. And then he's like, you know what? I'm gonna fucking just kill that dude and take his shells. And and that's pretty much where we're at. You know what I'm saying? So in a sense that we've really fucking progressed technology and medically information and all that, but we're still those apes that's just like, I want that shiny gold thing over there. I don't know why I want
So
it.
if you had a choice, if you're a Bruce Almighty in this situation and you became God, would you redo that?
Yeah, but it's hard to really say that because you don't know the repercussions. Bartering was always cool. I always thought bartering was cool because it wasn't about a value of anything.
You don't think it's just a natural evolution of mankind just to want to have power?
I think there's, like you said, somebody just create another way to get us against each other or make it. See, that was like how wild is it that what's the most valuable thing on Earth, in your opinion?
The most valuable thing?
Most valuable thing.
In what context? Like what's valuable to me, or
What's the most
what is
valuable thing?
subjectively or objectively?
Most valuable thing to any living thing on Earth, not necessarily mankind or
Food, water, shelter. It always comes down to
time.
that.
That's what's valuable to us. Obviously, you need food and all this shit to survive, but time's really what's valuable to us, right? You know what I'm saying? When you're 90 and you're like, fuck, dude.
I thought you meant every. All right.
every living thing. Like it's life.
Dog does not
It's
think
time.
about time.
You know what I'm saying? Well, no, it's because he's simple minded. He's just worried about scratching his ass and fucking
So
getting to go.
to people, time. All right. I feel you.
But well, in theory, a dog doesn't want to die, so time's really a concern of his. He just
Well,
doesn't
but a
know.
dog
it's
is
concern.
not remotely thinking about that.
Well, I don't mean subconsciously. The dog's like, I only got 7 Saturdays left. I mean, when it gets down to it, every creature wants to live, and live is
All right.
essentially time.
All right.
How much time you get
I'll
on
follow
Earth,
it.
you know
I'll
what I'm
follow
saying?
it.
So how wild is it? The most valuable thing that we have to offer is time, right?
Right.
Because money comes and goes, things come and go, but we sell that time for literally dollars, cents to seconds, dollars to hours. You know what I'm saying? That's a wild concept to me, and it's not even like a crazy amount. Like you would think, like I wonder if like at a time period where people were like, yo, dude, I need you to help me work. I need your time. I need your for 2 months. You know, like cowboy days, and they were like, you're gonna at least have to give me $500, which at the time was like 5,000. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
right.
so your
Right.
time was very valuable, and everybody understood that. So now it's just like $10 an hour. You're like, that's decent money, but $10 for an hour of your life, when it's all said and done, it's not going to be. It's worth it.
That's
you
what
know?
it's all about, building up to it. I think you create your own purpose. I truly do. It's whatever you want. If you want to live a life of luxury, you got to build up the first half, and then you're set the second half to do whatever you want. I believe a lot of people just get lost in it. They get scared of it. Nobody wants to think 10 years ahead. They might be homeless. They might not have that much money. They might have 3 kids, not have any time to do anything.
See, I'm on the opposite end of that. I guess I don't think 10 years ahead because I don't know if I'm going to be here tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? So I never understood the 5-year.
How's that worked out for you?
Oh, it works out better than most. You know what I'm saying?
I'm just being a dick.
How's it work out for you? You're right here in the same room with me.
Yeah, exactly.
saying?
Facts.
But-
Are the
but-
deal? Are the deal?
I'm just saying I wouldn't want to spend 2 hours thinking about 10 years from now and then die in a year. I'm like, wow, that 2 hours I could have used better. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, you should plan for tomorrow. And you should plan to be here in 10 years. But don't put so much thought into it. Like, remember when you were in high school and the counselor was like, yo, you got to really think about your college classes and what you're going to do, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. And then it almost fucking fucked you up because you thought about it too hard. You're like, what do I want to do? When really they should have been like, yo, you're 18. You're not going to know what you're going to do, want to do. And chances are the thing that you want to do, you're not going to be able to do. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what did you want to do when you were in high school? What was your dream job?
My dream job? I was actually going to go be a what's it? Producer. I was actually going to go to
Music
college.
producer, right?
To go, yeah,
All right.
music production.
So in order to do that, you're not going to be able to live here, right? So you
Right.
have to go to New York City, L.A., some big city where
Yeah.
it's kind of like the whole concept with acting. You go to L.A. to act, but everybody goes to L.A. to act. You know what I'm saying? So because it's not something that you could do everywhere, the demand for it in certain places are just crazy, and everybody goes there for that job. So your dream job that they're like, you need to think about what you want to do. You're like, all right, I thought about it. And then you're like, oh, hey, I want to do this. And they're like, oh, that's probably not the best field to go into. You should think about being a doctor. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you don't really get to control what you want to do. And there's a certain amount of people who do. You know what I'm saying? Through who they are or their name or, vice versa.
I think it's law of attraction, 100%. And I think it's a lot of people dealt bad hands, where they're hanging around losers. They hang around their family could be losers, their friends could be losers. They don't think that it's worth it to think a year ahead, and then they just always stay in the trap that they're in.
Understandable.
Happens all the time. American dream means you have to move to get what you want. If you want a better job, if you're not in an area that has a job that pays the wage you're wanting to make, fucking move or fucking invest into
But
something.
what do you consider the American dream?
American dream is to be. I mean, it goes back to how America started. Being able to do our own thing, be able to move around. If I want to move different states for a job because I'm like, oh, this is gonna I'm gonna be able to make more money. If that's what your goal is, that's what I'm saying. It's law of attraction. If you want to be comfortable, that's what you fight for. But if you're like, I want to get a job, but I can't stop smoking meth.
I see. Well, first of all, meth's a huge booster for jobs. No, but the American dream that I see is you work, no matter what it is you do, you can provide for your family and live a decent life. That's the American dream. That's how it's always been painted to me through centuries. You know what I'm saying? Like in the 50s, no matter what you did, if you busted your ass, put in the work, 40 hours a week, you could live off that. Now, there's not too many people that I run into that can make it off 40 hours a week. And if they do, it's people like your dad, which not everybody has the same skill set as your dad. Fair to say, right?
Yeah, I see.
You
I see it.
you don't
100% see
people,
it.
like, putting in work like your dad does. You know what I'm saying?
But he had to put in work to get to that point. He didn't know that either.
Exactly. But once you make it a thing where you're like, oh, hey, if you bust your ass for 20 years, you might wind up being on the upper side of it. Then I feel like that's a hard sell because you're like, because there's so many chances, variables that could happen that could derail that.
See, here's where I go away from that. Here's where I go away from that, because if you're not willing to put in the work, then yeah, people are going to go above you, because what you're saying makes sense. 100%. I agree. Here's the issue, though. When you start applying that to millions of people, it doesn't hold up. It does not hold up, because everyone's trying to hustle for the same thing. If a million people are trying to go for that same job that pays $100,000 a year, you're gonna have to put in more work. The American dream is to do what you want to do, but understand that you're gonna have to work to get to that point.
So what if you put in all this work and you get that job?
What kind of work? What kind of job? You have to go into it.
Surgeon.
If you're going to go into a surgeon,
you only want to be a surgeon. So you bust your ass. You study all this. You go above and beyond, like you were just talking about, right? You got to put in the extra work
I got you.
to be on top of the class. 3 weeks into that job that you just got, you get in a car wreck. Fuck your arm up. You just can't be a surgeon anymore.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do then? Do you like, oh, you can't rebuild. You can't. You will never be in that.
Who
same
says
spot
that you
again.
have to keep being a surgeon? I don't understand.
What else are you going to do? You spent all your time.
There's a shit ton of other jobs. So are we talking like a permanent break in your arm?
I'm talking about like Doctor Who. Your nerves are so fucked up, you're not going to be able to operate again. That type of thing.
All right.
You know what I'm saying?
Switch jobs.
With all that debt that you just got from medical school?
Well, all that debt from medical school, ideally, you would have got it down. Even if you don't, if worst case
You
scenario,
just started that job 3 weeks ago.
what are you going to do? Starve and die? That's not just how it works, bro. It's
Well,
part of the American dream.
Obviously, you're not going to starve and die.
I completely disagree.
I'm
The
saying-
part of that American dream is to adapt. If you're not willing to adapt, yeah, shit's going to happen. Life's going to happen.
All right,
But that surgeon
what's
needs
your
to.
plan B? What's your plan B? You spent all.
It depends on what situation I'm in. Do I have
You
kids?
spent 35 years going to medical. 35 years or not 35 years altogether. You're 30, 35. You just got out of med school. You put in all this work. You're thousands of dollars into debt because you're like, oh, at the end it's going to pay off because I'm gonna be a bank ass surgeon. Life happens.
But you also don't know the different types of jobs that you don't. That degree works for more.
Let's say it makes you disabled.
Not at all. So that job, that same job,
That doesn't
if you're talking about fully disabled, then there's no conversation to be had there. The point of view is, I understand what you're saying, but I'm coming from a totally different way. Like, I'm not just saying, like, I'm agreeing with you. The system is kind of messed up the way it is. I get you on that. But what I'm saying for that surgeon is there's way more jobs that you have no idea about that he has available to him with that degree, that even if he's not making half of what he's doing, if he's making $34 a year on top of a disability check, on top of the other benefits he still has from that job, or the other benefits he's got from whatever job he's at, he's still going to be able to go in the middle. He's going to be able to walk into a hospital and get a job. 100%. Any hospital. Now, yes, he's going to have that debt, but he's still going to be able to work for it. See, that's my mentality, is if it doesn't work out, you just find something else, or you keep going. But in that specific degree, that's not just a degree you take lightly. Like, oh, man, can't do surgery anymore. What am I going to do with this medical degree that applies to literally everything else? You know what I'm saying?
But I think you're looking too deep into the details of that.
No, you're good. You're good.
Car fucked you up. I think that while he's going through college, he shouldn't have to be in that amount of debt. Like, obviously, if you have to take a little bit of debt on, cool. 5, 10, 15 grand when it's all said and done debt. All right, I'm with you. But think about if you didn't get any funding, how much medical school would cost. Plus, it's an ongoing progress, right?
So you're saying systems just corrupt and they're
I'm
what?
saying,
I don't
I'm not
understand
saying
your
that the
point.
system's not, well, I'm getting to the point. I'm saying that I don't feel like you should have to struggle for X amount of years to get to that high-paying job when you could just be. And obviously, when you're starting out and you're starting to get that degree, why shouldn't there be a job that you could do? Normal job that anybody could do where they can make an honest living. Are you going to be doctor, surgeon living? Fuck no. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like you shouldn't have to plan for 20 years or put in all this fucking work for something that could, at the end of the day, might not even happen. You could fucking get shot in the back and be paralyzed. You know what I'm saying? You could wind up, what was the researchers do? The dude was in the wheelchair. Stephen Hawking's, is that the dude's name?
Yeah, Steve.
You could find out you're in a, Christopher Reeves. That shit could happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't know what's going to happen in life.
So what's your point?
That you should be able to enjoy life at any part in your life because you don't know how long.
I think it's a good idea, but it's impossible to scale that. I would love to be able to scale that and fully fund that, but the reality is, imagine trying to plan that between millions of people. Those millions of people are going to take those good jobs, go smoke meth. They're going to take it and they're going to go blow it, and they're going to end right back. That's what I'm saying. It's a great idea, and I would love to have faith in people. I just know it's not realistic.
But it worked in the 50s.
How did it work in the 50s?
Because everybody busted their ass and they had a decent living.
All right, so here, that was back in the 50s. We're here now. I'm saying now, not going to work. Just because something worked at some point in history, I don't disagree with you. I would want it to work. I just don't. It's just impossible to scale that.
So I don't believe so. I think that way.
So how would you scale it?
What do you mean? How
would you scale it? How would you affect it? What's your idea?
All right, well, what do you mean? How would I make it like it was in the 50s?
Yeah. What's your plan?
Well, I'm not an economist, so I don't know exactly all the
That's
details.
what I'm saying.
But all right, well then,
I agree with you.
So
I'm not
it
disagreeing with you.
impossible?
You're taking it way more personal.
I'm Eddie Bravoing you now. I'm fucking crazy.
Yeah, that's what I was.
So why is it impossible?
Because to try to scale it on today, the way the economy's going, the way the politics are going, the way that people are already bought out, people have been bought out for decades. The way people are already structured now, they're not going to let that happen. They're not even just they're going to let it happen. But imagine like the government now just obliterates through welfare. They give way too much to this person, not enough to this person. If we can't even get welfare right, what makes you think that we can get that right?
Because I feel like if we had the right politicians and the right leaders, not politicians, the right leaders in office, because like the whole, I'm tired of hearing about welfare. Welfare and food stamps is the downgrade of the country. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the reason our country's in the shitter. I think welfare is a very small amount of the problem. What the problem is to me is senators, senators, House leaders, presidents that are getting paid crazy amount of salary. They get paid in celery and carrots, a salary that they get for a lifetime. That's fucking ridiculous for me. You know what I'm saying?
Actually,
so you're telling me like somebody who works 40 hours a week, it's unfathomable for them to make a living.
Hold on.
This dude who hasn't been in office for fucking 20 years is still getting paid like that.
I didn't say I agreed with that at all, but
I didn't say you did. That's what I'm saying. It's not unfathomable to me. There's so much money going around to certain pockets, but not to workers in middle class.
Right, because now that I'm thinking more in depth about it, I think the closest thing that we do have that are your Chick-fil-A's versus McDonald's. Chick-fil-A will pay them $15 an hour full benefits, 40 hours a week, versus McDonald's who will pay them what's minimum wage, $7.25, no benefits, and treat you like shit.
Yeah.
So I think the closest thing you have to what you're doing, now that I'm thinking about it, I think it is possible. I think it's not in the hands of the government. I think it's in the hands of the people and entrepreneurs. Yeah, for example, if in 10 years we start a business about Slipknot, I'm sorry, you weren't a Slipknot shirt. Yeah. If we start a business on treadmills and we start making and selling treadmills, we now have the capability to slowly build a business to give somebody a decent wage. We now have the capability to give someone decent benefits. I think what you're saying is actually pretty possible.
What I'm saying is,
but not in the eyes. It's like that's what was getting me before. Just to clarify that before we move on from that. That's what I was saying, because it just sounded like you're like, oh, the government's gonna come up with this A+ plan. It's like, no,
I don't trust
absolutely not gonna happen.
What I'm saying is, it seemed like back in the 50s, why that worked so well is because the money was spread around more. I say the money because, like I said, I'm not an economist. I don't know exactly the details. I'm never going to be able to hit you with exactly, this is how much we spend, blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? Because for one, I've never seen a budget that's accurate. You know what I'm saying? It's like we know the national debt, but we don't know where that money's being spent. Like that's a wild concept as well, right? I'm saying I'm tired of hearing about like, oh, middle-class workers just need to work harder or sacrifice more of their time, effort, etc. when there's people far less hardworking, government officials who are getting paid out the ass for stupid shit. Like, when's the last time a politician did something so groundbreaking?
Well, that's what I'm saying. That goes back to the just not trusting the government.
When's the last time a politician did something so groundbreaking that you're like, it changed our country for the best?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. That's not a foreign concept to me. The only foreign concept to me is I'm sorry, not foreign concept, but the concept to me would be more along the lines of some sort of, like, if the government would get involved, you need to give tax, you need to figure out the tax portion of it. You need to figure out the politics of helping. You want to give incentive to entrepreneurs to actually want to go out and start a business and create more jobs for you.
See, the whole tax situation, I'm not hardcore on taxing the rich out the ass. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like 90% tax because they have $90 billion. Like Bill Gates, yeah, he's got a shit ton of money, more money than any man should have. But at the end of the day, technology, he did bring us some pretty crazy shit. I understand that. I'm not talking about like, oh, tax Bill Gates because he's just super fucking rich. To me, he's did something that's abundantly clear that changed mankind. Not just our country, but mankind. You know what I'm saying? Think of that Apple software and all that bullshit.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Steve Jobs, all that. I'm just saying politicians are getting paid crazy amounts of money while we're bickering about, well, you're working at McDonald's. You shouldn't get paid fucking blah, 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 blah. See, so I think I'm in the 50s state of mind where it's like, yeah, you're always going to have the people who are smoke meth and going to find the easy way out. That's just, it's not an American thing. That's just mankind. You're always going to have the slackers and the overachievers, right? I'm just saying it makes no sense to me why people who get up and work every day, no matter what their job is, that they can't make a living. Obviously, the more work you put in to your job, like your dad should be making more money, in my opinion, than what he is. It kills me that the president or these congressmen are making more than he is, and they're going to continue to make more of that even when they're not in office. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just a lifetime salary.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
You know
100%. I 100% agree with that.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm tired of hearing like all the whole like, what is sacrifice? It's like, motherfucker, these this middle class is working their asses off already. You know what I'm saying? All right, we'll use your dad for example. Y'all were younger. How many times did you see him?
We didn't for years.
Do you think it's justified? You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's disrespectful to when at that time period when he was doing that, to come up to him and be like, in 20 years it might pay off. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, a crazy shit could happen. He could have gotten a car wreck and been paralyzed.
Well, it's just a state of capitalism. Capitalism itself thrives off of competition. Competition will weed out the people who aren't about it versus people who are about it.
Yeah.
Because I fully deserve that you will, like Bill Gates deserves to be where he's at because he brought us that. He worked his ass off. He did something no one could even begin to think about. He was actually made fun of by a lot of people because everybody thought the computer was a joke. The internet's a joke. Think about that. At some point, the internet was just a complete joke.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that?
What the fuck it was?
Yeah, they thought it was hilarious. They're like, oh, that's never going to pick up. But, email? Yeah. No, email's going to beat the internet. Internet's retarded.
Think about this letter to you. Yeah.
But no,
I guess what I'm getting the whole basic argument I'm going after is a lot of people who do nothing get paid crazy amounts of money. Wow.
But you're going at it with a government perspective. That's why I'm trying to get you to answer more.
What do you mean?
It's like are you just talking about it, or are you just talking about
what could the government do?
Yeah.
Well,
because you keep saying the government's evil, but like what's after that?
I don't think the government is going to ever do anything because they're the ones getting paid.
So you're just talking about it.
No, I'm talking about Anarchy. That would be the only way it would ever Anarchy podcast plug. It would. You're
just talking about a revolution, just people standing up.
Exactly, but when is that going to happen?
I don't think that's anything that's
what I'm saying.
That's like remotely going to happen.
It's like our last podcast. You can't expect the people who have all the power to put their power in check. You can't. It's like the senators who are making fucking. I think they're making like $300,000 to $400,000 a year. You know what I'm saying? On top of
they make it for life. By the way,
yeah, exactly. On top of lobbyists who push agendas.
Yeah.
So it's not only they're getting paid these crazy amounts of money, but they're not even doing their job right. They're not even doing something. The one job that they have that they're getting paid 100, 200 times over, they're not even doing it right. They're still getting bribed and shit. You know what I'm saying? While people like your dad or people like my dad, they're like, well, you should have to work 2 jobs. Stop being lazy. Show more effort. Be better than Stan that's next to you. Like, why can't Stan eat? We all eat. Spend 40 hours at work a week, and we go home and chill with our families.
It's also environment, because because I totally agree. Because if you get people growing up in the ghetto, they did not want to be there. I promise you, they did not want to be there. I promise you, they don't want to have to worry about getting shot or hearing it through the night. I promise you, don't want to have to worry about eating government sandwiches. I promise you, they don't want to do that. That's what they grew around. Now you got your Jeezys that'll definitely get out of there, hustle their way out of there, and go from there. But yeah, 100%. I think the solution there is just somehow need to support local business. I guess I'll just sum it up like that. Just support local business. We need
See,
more entrepreneurs creating more jobs that are willing to pay a better wage.
Capitalism is a slippery slope for me because on the other hand, I believe it's cool. Like capitalism does have its pros. There's a lot of cons that need to balance out. That's why there needs to be like a socialism, capitalism hybrid. You know what I'm saying?
Utterly disagree, but all right.
Is that the right word? Socialism? What's the word I'm looking for?
Socialism is where the government rules everything.
All right, well,
People don't get a say in
no,
socialism.
I'm talking about what's it called when well, I guess it is socialism in a way, but not in the way that it's been done before. It needs to be a hybrid. There needs to be a capitalism with more of a socialism.
Capitalism revisited. Capitalism
Yeah,
revisited.
pretty much.
Let's just say
That's what
that
I'm
because
saying.
when you say socialism, you're worrying me because
Well, no, I don't mean like I don't mean give more power to this government. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying a capitalism that's less
divide the wealth and don't give it to the few.
a capitalism that's
100%
less
is what you're saying.
man eat man or dog eat dog. So if you take capitalism, you got the basic structure of capitalism, but make it less about well this dude.
So you would just want to see capitalism revisited, essentially. Like
Yeah,
actually
yeah,
just
that's
sit
what
down and
it's
have a
pretty much.
conversation, like update it to 2019.
Yeah, something that because I feel like the internet fucked everything up. You know what I'm saying? It's like the whole the argument like all of our amendments and shit came from a different time period. While there's still amendments that are relevant today, there's a lot of things that doesn't make sense to me anymore, and that's
Like what?
the politicians getting paid X amount of dollars. That's something that the government does that it doesn't make sense to me. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. Like, when did these salaries get decided? Like, when did they like, all right, because I feel like it was back in the day when there wasn't a lot of money going around. You know what I'm saying? When you were a president or an official, it was more of a noble thing to do because you wasn't going to get rich off of it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like George Washington wasn't like, I'm trying to be president so I can get fucking paid. That dude was already paid. He just wanted to see his country take off and really be what it is. So when the time came to really start divvying up money and there was money to be talked about, there was noble men in office. So they're like, all right, well, we can give them all this money for the rest of their life because they're fucking changing the world and putting us on top. Now it's like, oh, we don't really like what you say, so we're just not going to show up in the House of Representatives or Senate for just X amount of time. You know what I'm saying? We're just like, we're going to stop working for a while. We're just going to shut the whole government down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel you.
Shit like that. I don't think, like imagine if all these politicians, they were like, yo, the government shut down, nobody gets their salaries anymore. Ever. You think the government would ever got shut down? They're like, yo, just the minute our government shuts down, that whole lifetime you get paid, that shit's out the window. Because obviously we don't have enough money to pay for it, or our country's not in the spot where we should be paying crazy lump sums to people that are not even in office. You give that. I always thought it'd be cool if you gave a politician whatever, like Senate or whatever, House of Representatives, whatever you would do, whatever the minute median is in his state is what he gets paid. Or you do, all right, well, you can only make X amount of dollars, minimum wage. How many politicians would there be? You know what I'm saying?
The only other argument,
you throw out how much they get paid, and you make it where. Just go ahead.
So the only other argument that I've ever heard is they do that so they don't get bought out, which I think is bullshit too.
Like because they get bought out.
Yeah, that was what I said. Like it just gets bullshit. One of the runner-ups is Andrew Yang from on the Democrat Party in 2020, and he wants to increase the salary of the president to $2 million a year. Is what he said on Joe Rogan, and he said the reason is so you don't have to worry about him being bought out. But I was like, he's making $400 a year. What is he doing that
really
he can't make $400?
Plus, the president's really just a focal point. It's a visualization. It's not. He doesn't really do anything too crazy. You know what I'm saying?
No, I get you.
Reagan was the last one that had a huge impact on us, and it was a negative one. I don't think of any. No president comes to mind where I was like, changed the world, changed our country for the better. Cool speeches. JFK had some good speeches, but what did he really do? You know what I'm saying? Civil rights and all that shit, but what did he do? Like, when's the last time we had a president that changed our well-being?
I get you. I get you.
And that's all.
And that's all, folks. All right, bro.
Later, bro.
See you.